In the late summer of 2025, I kayaked from Manitoulin Island to the Manitoba border. This was part of my goal of travelling east to west across Canada. In the summer of 2024, I rode from the east coast of New Brunswick through to Manitoulin Island. Unfortunately, my horseback journey was cut short due to family tragedy, and so I sort of reimagined the journey and came at it from a different perspective. So I dusted off my kayaking skills, packed up my track kayak, and headed off across the Canadian Shield. Crossing the Canadian Shield by paddle was such an amazing experience, as it's how people have crossed this part of the world for thousands of years. It was an incredible way to connect with a part of Canada that I might otherwise not have seen, and it was pretty special being out there solo in a boat crossing north shore of Lake Superior through to Thunder Bay, and then of course jumping onto Path of the Paddle. This journey of nearly 1,800 kilometres took me through some of the most stunning landscapes imaginable, from the beaches and cliffs of Lake Superior through uncountable portages going through the interior, and none of it would have been possible without the incredible work of Path of the Paddle Association and the amazing volunteers that work for them. From Thunder Bay, I left the big lake and headed inland. A 2-day hike took me past some cool waterfalls, and then it was packing back up all our kayaking gear and getting ready to paddle through the Boundary Water. It's an amazing stretch of water between Canada and the US. Beautiful portages, amazing scenery. It was really fun to see quite a lot of different paddlers in this region as well, as it's very popular with folks coming up from the US, and it was quite fun popping over the border nearly every portage from Canada to the US. Resupplying an unsupported solo expedition like this can sometimes be a bit challenging, but fortunately through this area, going through towns, I think the largest stretch was maybe 2.5 weeks between resupply points, so never too far between tasty gourmet treats. The beautiful rivers and waterfalls in the Boundary Water area was a real highlight of the whole trip. It was a privilege to be able to connect with the routes that First Nations peoples and the fur traders would have taken through this area. From the Boundary Water, the Path of the Paddle heads into Quetico Provincial Park, an absolutely stunning part of the world that I need to come back and spend more time in. Of course, one of the biggest challenges in this area is portaging. I think it's challenging even in a canoe, let alone a kayak, but it's achievable. So my track kayak is quite light, and it would always take me, 2 loads each portage, so it took a while. So I'd take the heavy stuff first and then fill my bag with light stuff, and then kind of put the kayak on my head and sort of balance it on my backpack. And that meant I could just manage all the portages on my own. I had some beautiful wildlife encounters, such as this moose here in Quetico, and another one that I didn't get on camera but was like swimming across an island nearby where I was very cool. And then on Manitoulin Island I saw these crazy porcupines having this weird conversation, so I'll let you enjoy that. From Quetico, the path of the paddle heads up to Atakokan, where I had a day off and, of course, an opportunity to resupply and make the portaging even heavier. This part of the trail is known as the Morkanak, or the Turtle Trail, and it was definitely a matter of embracing that mindset. Many portages, quite slow going, but some of the most stunning campsites and lakes imaginable through this area. Some highlights here were the Turtle River, some rapids there, which was a bit exciting for me and my flimsy kayak, and just the isolation in this area. It's probably the remotest part of the trail, and some of the portages are a lot more challenging than in the more heavily used Quetico and Boundary Water areas. So yeah, it was slow, but absolutely stunning. And of course the camera only comes out in good weather, so all my videos show perfect conditions, but that of course wasn't always the case. Fair share of windy, rainy days, but all in all, I think I was very lucky with the weather, especially for this time of year in the early fall. Some absolutely stunning days. It was super special to be out there as the leaves started changing. And look, I can't say I love the portaging, but you've got to smile, right? Spending weeks and months on the water really lets you just be in the present, really connect with the place that you're in, get to know an area in a way that you can't if you're just staying for a couple of days. It's a real privilege. Even if to get there you sometimes have to portage over a small mountain. I could feel the seasons changing, and you could really tell that summer was starting to come to an end in that last week. Arriving in Vermilion Bay was a fantastic opportunity to resupply for the final push to Kenora. Those final days going through Dogtooth Provincial Park and through the Lake of the Woods, kind of a little bit bittersweet. The end of an epic journey, but also exciting to be finished. This is pretty exciting. This is the final portage of the whole trip. Wowie. And here I am, paddling into Kenora. By now it was the middle of October and I felt like it was time to get off the water, so I actually just walked from Kenora to the Manitoba border just to say that I'd finished. It's hard to sum up a journey of this magnitude. It's been an honour and a real privilege to travel through this part of Canada. It definitely gives you a lot of time to process, and for me it gave me the opportunity to grieve the death of a loved one. But I can safely say that there will always be a part of me floating down a river somewhere in Quetico.